everyone, and welcome to upstate New York in the Finger Lakes region, where the AWSCO Windows Cup Series playoffs continue at Watkins Glen. This 11-turn twisty road course in the countryside is going to provide quite a lot of chaos, and I have Ellie in the booth with me. How excited are you for this race?
Oh, I'm really excited. Watkins Glen is a very fun and interesting road course. It's got a lot of turns. It's got a straightaway where you get to go really fast. You got to brake just in time. It's a very competitive and a hard racetrack, and it's very fun to watch. And I'm excited to see the drivers at the track. What about you?
Honestly, I'm excited too. I think certainly one of the fastest road courses that you see really in stock car racing. So certainly a lot of high speeds here, quite a few overtaking zones as well. So expect a good show. And of course, we've seen quite a number of gnarly incidents in sports cars, stock cars, pretty much anything. So the Osco chaos that you see at some tracks, don't expect it to be absent here. But beyond that, just looking at this field, 40 cars, of course, there's going to be a lot of overtaking going on. Would you like to talk about some of the main spots where passes might happen?
Yeah, the main spots I could see passes happening is obviously going to be at the turns right after the straightaways for sure. Easily, once the drivers are braking, once you get out of that braking stage, that's where I think you're going to really start seeing drivers try and make passes. I think that's going to be the big main area we're going to have to be looking for.
Definitely. So we're talking about places like turn one, and
Turn
then,
one.
of course, into the chicane, as well as turn 10, just out of the carousel. Could be a sneaky spot to get a position. Quite a few battles that are probably going to continue through 11 and then onto the front stretch, I'd imagine. Certainly strategy on a road course pretty big, too.
Oh yeah, for sure, and it's something I've always really enjoyed in road courses as well. So definitely going to be paying tons of attention to turns 1 and 2. And my big thing here is also there are plenty of playoff drivers who are qualifying all over the field here, and I think it's going to be interesting to see what their strategy is, especially handling these turns. There are plenty of S's. I think we're going to see some drivers crash and burn here at those S's for sure eventually. I don't know whether it's going to be in the beginning of the race or more towards the end. It could be both.
Yeah, honestly, I agree. So we have this race here, which is going to be 102 laps, longer than the 90-lap NASCAR race. So certainly a bit more distance to work out strategy. And yeah, how do you think they'll manage that with some of the longer runs going?
Well, look, you have more time here in this series, so I think the big thing here is going to be tire wear. A lot of braking, so your tires are going to be put through hell here, so to speak.
Hmm.
So I think the tire strategy is one we're going to have to pay more attention to, given the amount of extra time we have here. There's going to be more time into the planning of it, and there's going to be more time just to extend that gap between green flag stops, if there are many green flag stops here. That's a big question. That's a big if.
It always is, and you have the weather as well, which of course could also play into things. The conditions a bit warm out here, 80 degrees with a breeze from the west, bit overcast as well. So certainly that could play into conditions. Like we've seen reliability sometimes be a problem in OSCO, and especially on road courses because you're working your equipment a lot harder. You're shifting up and down, so the transmission gets a lot more work. You're getting those high revs. The brakes are getting a lot more exercise. So I think maybe we could see some more cars fall out of the race, if not from chaos, maybe from reliability.
Oh yeah, from a reliability standpoint and just an overall a mechanical failure kind of issue, I think we're definitely going to see by some teams. Maybe they don't have their cars locked in for the type of driving we're going to see here. I think that's going to be some of the biggest worries for some of the teams who kind of qualified in the back. Maybe they didn't have the best
Hmm.
car. Maybe we're going to have to look out and see if they do end up having some sort of failures.
Absolutely, yeah, certainly. You cannot afford to have any sort of big reliability problem if you are one of these playoff drivers. And let's talk a bit about the points cut line heading into this race. Quite a few competitive positions here as we sort of continue through the OSCO playoffs.
There are plenty of competitive positions here. The points cut off. I will be pulling up the graph real quickly here.
I believe it's Vebels to point or 3 points up over Waterton. At least I think that's the most
That
recent
is
graphic I'm
correct.
seeing.
Yes, that is correct.
Yes, it is.
So yeah, this points playoff bubble right now is very It's very competitive, and there are some
It is.
shockers with some drivers who we wouldn't expect to have decent cushions, and some drivers that we would expect to have decent cushions here. There's also drivers here who I'm very worried about, or I think their teams should be very worried about, and I think there are going to be some shockers here and some not so much shockers here. What do you think?
I definitely agree, and I think certainly you have these positions here. Like, look at 12th through let's look at down to 17th, 12th through 17th, sort of the positions we'd say that's the bubble. That's the place where a lot of the movement's going to happen. They're all separated by 10 points, which really isn't much. And then if you expand your scope up to 11th, that becomes just 14 points as a separation. Two drivers in on wins, and of course, after this race, 15 in bats. So that could either be 12 or 13 on points, depending on how this race goes. And I suppose we could have a quick look at some of our qualifying drivers. We have Alicantes, who won at North Wilkesboro, is pretty much safe. You have Yukovic, who won the most recent race at Kansas, starting up in the second row as well. So our winner's safe, but pretty much everybody else, as far as playoff drivers, is spread all throughout, as you mentioned.
Yeah, playoff drivers are spread all throughout, but there are some drivers here I'm not too shocked to see. Shocked, what am I talking about? Lily Talverson, for example, she is on the outside of row 1. That is not too shocking. She has performed really decently at a lot of the road courses. Yappy Maxon, again, is another driver who is always better at the short tracks and road courses. And then if you look a little outside of the first few rows, you get to row 10, and Abby Little qualifying there actually doesn't shock me. She performs well at Mexico City and pretty well at Road America, if I remember correctly. So I think she is a driver who will be going into this race a little less worried than some of the other drivers. She's had some pretty decent experiences here.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And you see Little, of course, sort of in the middle of row number 10. And of course, she is 10th in the standings right now and is a pretty safe margin of, I believe, 19 points, if I'm doing my maths correctly, over the cut line. Yes, 19 over. So certainly could be doing well. And you have to tune your car, of course, for just the one lap qualifying or the race. And I think maybe the 71 team leaning a little bit more toward the race. And looking a bit further back, you have drivers who are in desperate positions, like Felicia Vancy, who is starting very near to the back. You have Agar Sharaj, who is starting on row 19, is only a few points above the cut line. So quite a bit of desperation, especially further back.
Quite a bit of desperation. And those two drivers aren't that great at road courses either. Felicia Vancy a little bit better, but Azar Shiraz has mostly been really great at the super speedways and longer tracks. I would definitely be not really. Not really. I'm getting word. I guess just today she didn't have the greatest setup with her car, but again, nonetheless, you're qualifying more towards the back, so I would be worried no matter what.
Exactly, and this isn't like Talladega where you can just make up all the spots at once. You have to go one by one, and that takes a lot of time. So you'll probably have to use your brains a lot. How do you think cars are going to be able to make the most progress at Watkins Glen?
I think the way you're going to get most progress here is not trying to rush down those S's, just staying in your spot where you are, and then once you get past, and especially those straightaways I was mentioning in turns 1 and 2, that's where you're really going to just make up positions. Those are the biggest spots for you to actually get somewhere, and I know tensions are definitely going to be high here. There are tons of drivers on the qualifying, especially towards the back, who are in not the best position, so they're just going to have to dial in, make sure they do not really mess up, especially on the S's, because those are very hard zones to kind of just make sure you're driving very well in. And I think what they really have to just hold out for is tire strategy and waiting to get a good position to pass in the turns 1 and 10.
Definitely agree. I think best way to sort of summarize that idea is to say you need to be patient and you really need to be careful about what you're doing and not do anything too crazy, because as tempting as it is to make a pass if you're really close, if you mess up, that could be catastrophic, and often is at a place like Watkins Glen, as we mentioned before. So just being patient and thinking about your strategy and making the moves when it's only really safe to do so, rather than just, whatever you feel like it, I think is the best way to go about things. Do you have any closing thoughts before we get started here at Watkins Glen?
Other than I'm very excited to see the drivers hit the track, and that it's going to be an exciting race. No.
Honestly, I agree. So I hope everyone here watching enjoys the race, and I will send it up to the studio where we have a couple of our regulars waiting to discuss what will happen at Watkins Glen.
Oh, okay. We're getting the word that the booth is not ready, so we should go over
Right.
something else real quickly before you want to head off, and we send it towards the booth. Is there anything
Anyway,
else you've been thinking of about this track?
well, in as much as just sort of the weather goes, if we look at the track, I'm gonna pull out Google Maps and try and find Watkins Glen here just to get an idea, because you do have that wind, which could be a big factor for handling through the corners. So I'm gonna find Watkins Glen and see exactly where it ends up as far as just the directions of the turns. If you'll excuse me a bit. But yeah, what do you think about the weather here and how that could impact things as I just take a look here?
Well, given the temperature is more on the hotter end, and with the wind, that's going to kind of if you're not on the right angle and the wind is coming down on you, especially on the turns, it could come up under you and throw you off and lose control. So you got to be very careful, especially with the wind out here today. The temperature is not really what I'm so worried about. I do believe most cars will be dialed in to deal with 80 degrees temperatures. It's going to be that wind where you're going to have to make sure you're not getting thrown out, just the car not thrown out of where you're just dialing it in. And the thing is there's not much you can really do to control that as well. So that's going to kind of be the areas where we'll have to look out and see who gets thrown out of control of their car, and if they're not able to control it properly, it could actually take out some of the playoff drivers.
Definitely. I'd say probably the trickiest spots with the wind here today are going to be probably turn one, because you have a crosswind that's pushing the back end of your car outward as you try and go around that turn, which could probably result in some more spins, even single car spins. And of course, you have the chicane, which could get a bit tricky, especially on exit, as well as the carousel, again, pretty tricky on exit. Of course, cars going to be running wide into the pavement there, hopefully not much wider than that, but definitely a very tricky turn, the carousel, and really the rest of the track. Where do you think you'll see some of the most difficulties at Watkins Glen?
I think the big difficulties are going to be right past that outer loop once you get into the chute and the carousel. Those are going to be the biggest difficulties, especially if the wind comes up from under you and you're not able to maintain where your car is. You're just not able to control it. I think that's just going to be the biggest difficulty there. Braking, obviously, off of the straightaways, but a lot of our drivers are used to that anyway, so I'm not too worried about the straightaways.
Oh, I'd hope not. And now that the booth is ready for us, we will hand it off to them finally. So thank you for listening to us yap a bit, and now you'll get to watch these two yap for a bit.
Drivers, to your cars.
And welcome to Watkins Glen International here in Watkins Glen, New York, in the Finger Lakes region. It's a beautiful area of the state of New York where this picturesque road course, this old road course that's 2.45 miles here, one of the oldest and most historic in North America, here, the Watkins Glen International. Hello everyone, I'm Echo and I'm joined by Rasha here in the booth at Watkins Glen. Rasha, this track's been around a long time. It's got a lot of history to it. AWSCO drivers ready to write their own history. What are you expecting from this one tonight?
Yeah, thanks for having me here in the booth, Echo. This is one of my personal favorite road courses, especially in North America. It just has such a great history when it comes to all types of racing, really. Whether you're talking about open wheelers, of course, this was an F1 track for the longest time. It was a staple of the IndyCar schedule for a few years. But of course, I think this track is more or less well known for its endurance races, the 6 Hours of the Glen, and of course our stock car races. We've seen all 3 of NASCAR's National Series grace this circuit with its short layout, for quite a long time now. I think this particular layout with the chicane on the backstretch has been around since the early '90s. So this is a fairly well-known racetrack. I think it's a pretty well-known variable for all these, for everyone, sort of. But also, this series being new and all, that of course means there's going to be still quite a few variables, even with a track that's this well-known. And I'm looking forward to see how these teams deal with all the variables that we'll be seeing today. And of course, the additional layer of this being a playoff elimination race really makes things kind of ups the ante a little bit. And now we're gonna have a little bit more extra pressure on these drivers, especially those that are looking on the outside end or just above the cut line. I mean, you mentioned some of these cars that are below the cut line right now. Two of those are winners that we've already had at road courses. McJasmine, of course, won at Montreal earlier this season, and Delata's 2 wins on the road courses, one at Road America and one at Mexico City. But of course, this racetrack is also quite different, I would say, from most other road courses. It almost acts like an oval as much as it does a road course, and I think you would agree with that, Echo.
Absolutely. It's very much a high-speed road course where you kind of got to have that same kind of discipline that you have at an oval. All right, we're going to go through our starting grid here from the Watkins Glen International. Row 1, Michele Yatica starts on the pole. She's alongside Lily Talberson in the 39 car. Talberson will give you an eye on the playoff races. Talberson comes in 12 points up on the cut line. Row 2, our 2 winners, Perry Alicantes, winner at North Wilkesboro, and Halis Jukovic, winner at Kansas. Those 2 locked into the next round. Doesn't really matter what happens here. Row 3 is the 17 of Pacelin Uria, who's taken over that car following Dira Reister's exit, and Alicia Byrne in the 91. Row 4 is the 38 of Youngwei Koo, and the 23 of Yappy Malikson. Malikson comes in 39 points to the good. She just needs to really just finish it off. Row 5, the 60 Amory Wesco, and the 46 Yenfi Yanaga. Yanaga comes in 34 points to the good on the cut line. Row 6 is the 21 Amani Wandayo, the 93 of Irina Tosima. Tosima's 23 points up on the cut line.
Also has a win this season at a road course, at the Daytona road course earlier as well, so that's another driver with road course success.
Yep. Row 7, the 82, Katrin Edelstein making her Cup Series debut. She's alongside Janet Parkings. Row 8, the 13, Yania Waterton. Waterton comes in 3 points behind the cut line. She's alongside Andrea Davison, who comes in 39 points ahead of the cut line. Row 9, the 20 of DeGabi Gabriella, and the 2 of Isa Ijavida. Ijavida second last week in Kansas. Row 10, Abby Little comes in 19 points to the good, alongside Arlen Handstrom, who comes in 8 points to the good. A couple drivers who not particularly safe, but in a decent spot. Row 11, the 15, Tabrizi Tolerone, and the 31 of Taylor Happeman. Happeman's 29 points to the good.
Start your engines.
Row 12 is the 32 of Cinlia Rariston, who comes in just 7 points to the good alongside Carly Byrne in the 9. Row 13, the 42, Mika Gennaro, and the 27 of Nietzsche Garnston. Row 14 is the 6 of Jami McJasmine, 25 points behind the cut line. She needs a really good run. She's alongside Laurie Schliesenbach. Row 15, the 3 of Mimi Reno is alongside the 34 of Mika Harina. Harina, 47 points to the good on the cut line. Pretty much just needs to have a solid day. Row 16, the 64 Jocelyn Nihale, who comes in 44 points to the good. She's alongside Marisha Vebelst, who's just 3 points to the good. Row 17, the 96 of Angeli Rigatino, 5 points back, alongside her teammate Bria Delade, 11 points back on the cut line. Row 18, the 1 Felicia Vancy, who's 15 points back coming in. She's alongside the 26 Sophie Chantaze. Row 19, the 10 of Audie Stoneman, is alongside the 98 Eva Azarsaraj. Azarsaraj just 4 points to the good. And row 20, the 16 of Sky Anjetta, and the 52 of Rachel Cole. I gotta reset real quick.
Drivers, Start your engine.
Drivers, to your cars.
With all that being said, we have 102 laps here from this track, 400 kilometers, as is standard for our road course races. What do you think we'll expect? We've got a few more laps, just about 12 more laps than standard here. What do you think we'll see?
Yeah, that's interesting to see that. It's interesting to see that we're running a longer race than the NASCAR Cup Series would here. Obviously, that means that extended run a little bit kind of pushes things a little bit, maybe on strategy, obviously. But at the same time, not entirely sure what that'll do outside of that. These drivers are going to be racing hard throughout the race, no matter what, I think.
Green flag is out. We are racing at the Glen.
Jump by 39 of Talberson.
Rosen got a solid start, but again, getting that inside lane into turn 1 is going to be key.
See how many cars fan out here. Pretty much everyone's sticking to the racing surface. AWSCO using that inside line to her advantage.
Yatika's going to get clear out of turn 2 through the S's. Side by side behind.
The two winners, both of them are locked in, so they're just racing for pride here right now. Maybe to get an extra bonus point if they can nab a win.
Yep, that is an extra point for each win they have into each round. Michele Yatica. Jake gets away, but here comes Lily Talberson looking to the inside of the 92 into turn 10.
Side by side to the final corner. We'll see where the 39 can muscle her way past. Good
92
exit
got
off
a decent run off the corner.
Yeah, good exit off that last corner can do a lot of work here on the front stretch.
The 92 is going to lead the first lap here from the Glen.
Just by under half a tenth, so very close here.
And they were side by side coming to the line. So the 82, Katrin Edelstein, started bouncing around a bunch of cars. Now, Edelstein has road course experience, but not in these AWSCO cars. She's been running in the Continental Series all year. They don't have any road courses in that series.
Yeah, Edelstein has a lot of experience in a bunch of series, so lots to be anticipated here as they go side by side. Once again, Talberson looking for the lead through the inner loop.
Talberson looks to the inside yet again.
But again, Yatica is able to use that outside to her advantage here through the carousel. But they're still...
Talberson trying to get to the outside here into turn 10, but she's not going to be able to do so.
92 finally clears. Very close between these four.
I think Talberson's definitely faster than Yatica right now, but she needs to get the momentum.
Probably just a little bit faster, but it's all about timing your run and being able to make the move at the right place. Like maybe right now she looks to the inside of Yatica.
Into turn 1. Yatica did lead that opening lap. See cars back here kind of bouncing off each other a little bit.
That's the important part about road course racing, is that even at a track like this where passing opportunities are everywhere, you have to time your moves right. You can't just go in at any you can't just go in anywhere and expect to make a pass.
And Talberson did get clear of Michele Yatica, so the 39 car now out front here from the Glen. For Lily Talberson, if she's one of those cars, she's not in a great position points-wise. She only came in 12 points up. She can get just a bonus point for leading a lap. That will be very crucial.
Yep, every point's gonna count for those guys that are there and thereabouts on the cut line battle. For Talberson, you just want to have a good, clean race here. 12 points isn't a lot, but it's enough as long as you don't find yourself in a hole and retiring early from the race.
Yep. Fighting for third still. Here comes Jukovic and Alacantes.
Yeah, these two are still going at it.
Still going after each other. See Irina Tosima trying to take a spot away from Yenfi Yanaga. For the 9th position, she's got that. AWSCO fighting with Yanaga into the S's. Pasoliniria again making her. She's moved to that 17 car for the remainder of the season. Kira Reister out for the rest of the season after she's been suffering concussion-like symptoms after Kansas. So As a vow of safety here, they are taking taken Reeser out of the 17 the remainder of the season.
Lots of racing back here in the midfield as well. See Edelstein there, just kind of sitting behind two of the Red Racing teammates there.
And that's another thing, is Edelstein was heavily rumored to be coming into this 82 for quite a while. And, well...
Watch out there, that's the 13 of Waterton. That's a playoff, that's another playoff contender. Right below the cut line. That's another driver that'll need every point as well.
For Edelstein, she gets to come into this car a little bit earlier. They were expecting that she would be in that car next season. She's in the car a few races earlier than that, actually. Recar, Mimi Barrino's on pit road. Looks like Bria DeLaude is kind of saddled back a little bit, but nobody looks too worse for wear. I think there may just be a little bit of either alternate strategy or just a little bit of checking out the car there on the 3 car. So Lily Talberson leads the way. Nikela Yatica second. Jukovic is third. Alicantes, Alicia Byrne make up the top 5. Then it's Yuria, Ku, Malikson, Tosima, Parkings. The rest of the top 10. Janet Parkings has just gotten up into 10th. Got past Yanfi Yanniga for that position.
Work our way back past the 60 here.
Are these two fighting for 11th?
Yeah, side by side through the S's. At the front, things have calmed down a little bit, but Yatic has been able to defend second pretty well here. Still hung on to
Yeah,
it.
I mean, Yatic has
Even
been
though-
able to
yeah.
keep with the 39 for a decent bit here.
Yeah, even though Jukovic has been all over her rear end, she's not really relented. Nor has Jukovic really tried to make a pass for now.
Just kind of keeping back here for a little bit. A lot of these cars know that Talberson is going to be racing pretty hard for points here. I mean, that a win would guarantee Talberson's spot, but Talberson's just going to be racing for points here. There's quite a bit of battling back here. There's Andre Davison and Yania Waterton back here. Mika Harina came in 47 points to the good. She's pretty well good unless something were to happen that...
Absolute cataclysm of events.
Yeah, it would have to be a very, very hyper-specific
Yeah.
amount of events to knock the 34 out, and that kind of thing is very unlikely, so for Harina, she's pretty well solidly in. I believe the 55 of Bria DeLaude also came in, so I think these two might have had some sort of contact on the racetrack.
Just about add Jocelyn and Nihil to that as well. Here comes Jukovic to the inside.
For a second.
Atlantic Racing looking very good here, even before the end of the first round. Just the 32 kind of in that bubble fight.
Jukovic looked like she got a good run off the corner, but again, she won't have the inside going into turn 1.
Saw the 72 ran quite a bit wide there.
They run pretty wide
They
off
ran
turn
quite
11.
Wide, yeah, they do run quite wide, but sometimes they do flirt with the outside wall sometimes very closely.
Meanwhile, there's a battle for 4th. Alicia Byrne looking underneath Perry Alicantes.
The pair of teammates right
That's
there.
yeah, those are a couple teammates. Alicia Byrne, the only Ford that did not qualify for the playoffs this season. I mean, looks like that driver change has been pretty solid for the 17. At least so far. At least, you know, our sample size is pretty low, to be fair. It's about 8 laps, but looks like Yuri is doing a pretty solid job keeping that 17 up here in the top 10. Yappy Malikson looking underneath Young Wei Koo. But that may actually end up backfiring on her because Arena Tosima is closing up.
She started all the way up in 19th and is kind of in the mid-teens right now as well.
Yeah, Little's moved up a few spots. She's in 15th now.
Yeah, we're gonna get some spots moving around, but the big moves don't really happen until you get to that first pit cycle. That's where things really start shuffling about.
That was a bit of a... That was a pretty hectic dive bomb by Tosima there.
Yeah.
To take the... try to take the 8th spot away from Yappy Malikson. She will do so. Coming through the inner loop here. That's just a... this is a very... there's a lot of very technical parts to this track, and there's a lot of not very technical parts to this track. You see Jukovic challenge Yatica again for second.
Yeah, she'll have the outside line here. If she can clear.
She has the outside. She needs the run, though. She needs to get...
needs to clear, basically, but Yatica can hang on.
Yatica's sticking on the inside, though.
Yeah. That's the done that once already with the defending from the 39 earlier on.
Jukovic can... Jukovic, you're seeing Jukovic is able to break a lot deeper than Yatica is, but... again, Yatica just has the advantage of having the inside lane.
Yeah, plus with the first corner of the SS being another right-hander, that just kind of doubles that advantage. But Yuria here kind of dragged into this battle with the MPM cars.
Just sticking behind Alicantes and Byrne.
Yeah, the 17 team needs every result they can get. I think they just have 2 top 10s with them and 1 top 5.
Just 2 top 10s, which came at Motegi and at, I believe, Darlington was the other one.
Definitely a recent uptick in performances, but still, regardless, this is the team that's rounding up the bottom of the...
I mean, recent uptick in performance, I mean, that's kind of a very low bar.
Yeah, big gap between the top 9 and then Janet Parkins in 10th here.
Yeah, it's about a couple seconds between Parkins and Yappy Malikson at the edge of the top 10.
Yeah. You only see about a second or so gap between drivers at most at this track in the opening run. That's interesting.
Meanwhile, the 72, I think, just got the wall.
Yeah,
She
32's
really went up.
3 cars past her already, maybe a 4th by the end of the first corner, side by side.
And then that
again.
62's got to the inside of the 92, and now that may be what she needs to get by.
Yeah, did the exact same thing that 39 did to take the lead, and there she goes, clear of the 62. And Yuria as well is clear of the 91, so that'll be 5th place for the 17 team.
Meanwhile, back here, 10th place. Now AWSCO has it, but Yenfa Yanaga's challenging for it. And Lily Talberson's gapped the field by a little bit. She's got a lead of about 1.25 seconds right now. There's the 2 cars that came down pit road. Jocelyn Nihale's in a very similar boat to Harina. Technically, Nihale could be usurped on points. However, it would literally take somebody to win and get the maximum amount of points. And the only driver that could do that is actually Michele Yatica. Meanwhile, here comes the battle for the lead. Jukovic ran down Talberson very quickly.
Yeah, this car is very fast already. Very quick work. Jukovic helped by that 92, actually.
And change for the lead. Halis Jukovic out front. Yatica maybe taking a look for second, although I don't think she's going to be able to slot in here for it. And Halis Jukovic now to the front of the field. She can get back around. She'll have a lap. Led. But I think another thing that's got to be discussed here. There is going to be some strategy at play. We're seeing pretty early on. While it's not hard to pass, I don't think it's as easy as we were expecting it to be. I think pit strategy will play a big part in how this race goes. 10th place, Yanaga battling with Wesco. You see Davison and Wandayo, 2 teammates fighting for 12th.
Yeah, the 72 kind of had a brick, kind of had a brick wall in front of, ahead of all of these guys here. Now that she's been pegged back, I think everybody's gonna start kind of deliberating over who gets to lead that pack. Now, as you can see, a lot of movement around here. They're still trading positions over here. And Parkins is down all the way to, I think, 15th or so.
Abby Little's just moved past Amani Wandayo. We're tracking that cut line battle, but right now, Vebel's 28th, Waterton is 17th. Waterton came in 3 back. We're wondering about the 96. The 96 is back in 33rd.
Yeah, Rugatino not really particularly quick on this first one.
And McJasmine is 21st, so...
Again, very early goings here. We're only a 10th, just over a 10th through the race, and we haven't even gone through our first set of pit stops, so everything we're saying here is very
But I think
tentative.
Vebelst... It's very possible Vebelst could be ahead of a Jarsaraj here. Because those two are only split by a point. A single point. This group very well. Just mostly single filed out. See Andrea Davison looking on Yenfi Yanaga. Yanaga didn't win too far back. She won back at Pensacola. Meanwhile, back here, Felicia Vancy sitting in 31st. She's another car who's in the playoffs, trying to get those points to get back out, to get back towards maybe making the next round. But Vancy has very much struggled in this first round. Back-to-back 33rd place finishes. So we see Tosima battling with Youngwei Koo. Side by side for the 7th position. Tosima trying to use the outside against Koo, which will cross into the inside in turn 11. Continuing to battle that 38. But again, the best spot we're going to see is going to be down that front stretch into turn 1. That's going to be the best spot for trying to make passes. Top 5 have gapped the field just a little bit. Jukovic, Talberson, Yatica, Alicantes, Uria. 3 playoff drivers in the top 5, but 2 of those drivers already guaranteed to the next round with a win already. But we're 15 laps complete here from the Glen.
I'm kind of monitoring that gap between the 23 and 60. I don't think it's really going anywhere, so
Not really.
I think that gap's just staying put for now.
And again, just a reminder of the road course caution flag rules. Cautions will pretty much only come out in the case that a car is stopped on track. Talberson looking to the inside of Halis Jukovic. She took a pretty decent look down there. Going into, excuse me, she took a pretty decent look going into turn number 1, but wasn't able to quite get to the bump underneath the 62 there. Lily Talberson chasing her 3rd win of the season right now.
75 holding steady. They're starting to pull a little bit ahead.
Yeah,
of,
they've kind of
69th.
gapped.
Yeah.
They've kind of gapped the 4 cars
Kind of-
behind them right
Yeah,
now.
we're kind of forming little packs here.
Just not being as aggressive right now. There's Janet Parkings. Yeah, they're starting to pretty well spread out. Out the field as Parkings goes underneath Wandayo. You see Waterton and Wandayo came pretty close to making some contact there up through the S's. That's a pretty dangerous spot.
Yeah, this is still a melee here. It's all going down behind once again the 72 of Parkins.
There's Andre Davison looking to the inside on Yanaga.
Yeah, I never thought
11th spot.
I never thought I'd see a trolley train in stock car racing. That's one thing.
Wow, Davison just cleared Yanaga, exiting turn 10 there. Very strong move from Davison to do that. I think a good part of it is just drivers are trying to be patient right now. It's
Yeah.
early in the race. You don't want to.
You don't want to do anything too rash, obviously. Because
Don't
that'll
overdo
get you
it.
lose a lot of time.
You don't want to overdo it.
If you're gonna do something like that, do it at the end of the race, at least. Still, Hollis Yukovic at the front, but the 39 is right there with him. And so is the rest of the top 5.
Yeah, the 62 hasn't really gapped any of these cars. Again, I think the big difference maker is going to be strategy.
Yeah, that's gonna be what separates these teams apart from each other, especially at the sharp end of the field. That 32 of Sinley Rarison is kind of minding her business, along with the 6 of Jasmine up. McJasmine is in a much worse position points-wise, 25 back of the cup line.
Well, yeah, for McJasmine, it's pretty well clear. She's kind of got to be up towards the front and contend for the win.
She has to contend for the win.
39 had a look to the 62's inside, but nothing occurred from that. McJasmine has climbed up to 20th. So she's had a solid start. You know what? She started back in 27th, so pretty solid start to the race for McJasmine. Top 9 pretty well, kind of just single filed out here. Not really much going on in the realm of move making right now. I say that, and I just watched Abby Little dive bomb on Yenfi Yanaga into turn 1 for 12th spot.
12th spot, yeah. That'll make her, I think, it'll put her up 7 positions in the first run alone, which is a good start for her. Of course.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way to start off. Pace on the area, looking to the inside on Alicantes. Sent it pretty deep into the corner.
Yeah. Good work on exit though. Was able to
Very good, yeah.
Was able to kind of keep it gassed up through the kind of grassy bit there on the exit of the chicane. So good car control by 17 there, and that's going to give her one spot up.
Yeah, that part of the track doesn't hurt you too bad if you put your tires down on the grass, just because you don't lose that much grip from it.
Yeah. That's kind of one spot where you can kind of be ballsy and just send it through.
You can get away with it.
Yeah.
Yuri has managed to make it up to 4th. And so far, we're caution free. 21 laps complete here from the Watkins Glen International. You see Nietzsche Garnston battling with Yanni Waterton. Curious about the playoff battle, there's Marisha Vebelst. She just passed Isa Javida for 27th position. But Vebelst is still ahead of Ajar Siraj, who's 31st, having a uncharacteristically not great run on these road courses. Although I will say Ajar Siraj did start in the back of the field,
Yeah,
so...
very back of the field. She is heading to this race only 4 points above the cut line, so...
Yeah.
She does. This is one of those times where she needs to run well, and it's a bit odd to see her not running particularly well right now. But again, lots of time to kind of rectify that. We're still just under 80 laps to go now. About 80 actually. We'll just started lap 23.
Waterton's still continuing to kind of drop positions here. She dropped a spot to Garnston, and now Rarison's trying to take this spot away from her. Kind of getting a little freight trained, Waterton is. I mean, the top 5 is pretty well split apart, but this 6th through 9th brigade is a little bit closer together. Does look like Janet Parkinson's a little bit of door damage there to that 72 car. We're seeing one dial look to the inside.
It's kind of broken away. Something's kind of broken away a little bit from the pack. You can see them kind of thinning and a little bit. Those guys may have been fighting a bit aggressively to try to get behind the 72. That kind of lost them a bit of time.
23. Yappy Malikson going for the spot on Young Wei Koo.
For 8th place. 62 starting to get up a little bit. Just pulled like a car length on these guys. A couple car lengths actually. Yuri looks like the car that's able to follow a little bit closer still in this part of the run. 24 laps in. These tires are going to start wearing out now. Let's check our lap times here.
They've lost about a second.
Taking off a second, so yeah, that's, you can see just a little bit of tire wear now.
You know, the tires are going to start to, wear down here. That's going to be something else to pay attention to. Tire wear is going to be very important because when you come in for those pit stops is also going to be a pretty big deal here, because this is at least this is going to be a 2-stopper. You can make it about 40-ish laps on fuel, maybe a bit less. Yanni Waterton's been dropping. She dropped another position. She dropped a spot to Katrin Edelstein there. And now she's under pressure from McJasmina. But so far, a pretty uneventful opening to the race here in Watkins Glen. We've got a couple lead changes, but that's been all there is really to talk about. Waterton trying to hold off McJasmine now here for 19th. I'll say Arena Tosin looked like she's been able to get some pretty good runs on Alicia Byrne, but she just hasn't pulled the trigger yet to try to get by that 91 car. Not looking all that aggressive right now, Tosima is. Here's a very crucial battle for 35th between Carly Byrne and Audie Stoneman.
Yeah, looking at the other end of the field
Waterton's held off McJasmine for now. We'll see if that ends up sticking.
Yeah, here comes Jasmine.
Because the
looking
6
to make a move
cars
again.
already looking to the inside again and at the
Won't
end of
get
the
there, though.
end of the bus stop.
32 doing well as.
And they are really starting
Ooh,
to slow
here we
up.
go, here we
39
go.
cars coming to pit road.
Careful, careful. Pit road actually is a little bit hairy at times.
She's gonna make an early
That's
stop.
the first taker, yeah.
That's a very interesting, bold strategy by Talberson. We'll see if it pays off.
27 laps in. Let's see if anyone else takes a bite here. I don't see anybody else right now.
Already having that strategy split.
It's just 39.
Looks like it's just Lily Talberson. Okay, it looks like they have about 30 laps on fuel, so this might actually end up being about a 3-stopper.
Approximately, yeah.
39 a bit slow, 19.39. Well, she may be able to make that up in terms of the in terms of making up for the tire wear for having fresh tires. Joseph is still not making that move on Alicia Byrne. Garnston making moves on parkings. 14th spot. Tosma tried to look to the inside, but there was no dice there. Lily Talberson out there by herself now. Again, this lap's not going to be very key for in terms of her out lap. Well, that lap will be key, but it's not going to be. Oh, a couple cars pitting. Yukovic and Yataka both in. I see Pasolinieri and Perry Alicantes are both staying out. Looks like Malikson and Koo are coming in. Now we've got takers.
Yeah, dominoes are starting to fall. That makes sense. It's a 17 and 18 just from that pack alone.
Yep.
32 looking around making moves here tonight. Actually defending from the 82.
And she's
Edelstein?
defending
Yeah.
Edelstein.
Speaking of moves,
Tosma
Tosma
finally trying to make a little bit of a look to the 91, but
can't
no.
get the run, yeah.
Yeah, she
Can't
just
get alongside.
she couldn't outbrake. That's kind of how you have to do it into the bus stop. You got to outbrake and get the run
Yeah.
on the exit of the corner.
Maybe pull out of the draft a little bit later so you can kind of make sure the 91 doesn't have time to cover off that inside. Kind of force a two-wide situation there.
And there's also the other tried and true method of just pass her in the pits.
That is also true. We are approaching the pit cycle. 92 is past the 39.
92 and the 62 did get ahead of the 39, but the
39 has-
92's on cold tires.
Yeah, 39's tires are gonna be nice and warm here. She'll be able to make the move into the past the 92 here,
Yep, she'll get to second, I think. Yes,
Yep.
she will.
but well behind the 62.
There comes a good chunk of the rest of the cars.
Yep, lots of cars coming in.
There are a few cars coming in, although it looks like the 17 and 18 did stay
Top
out. Same
four
for the
stay out,
91 and
yeah.
93.
Those guys all staying out for now.
So this group on a bit of a different strategy. Well, a bit of a different strategy. I don't think it's too much of a different strategy, though. Watching Jocelyn Nihale and Isa Javida here. couple Honda Power teammates. Janet Parkins looks like she's having a bit of a long stop. They kind of had to pull the sheet metal out there a little bit. Oh, 17, 18, 91, 93 are in. 71's choosing to stay out. So Abby Little gets a bonus point for leading a lap as she chooses to stay out just one more lap. Now again, the question is, how much time do you lose from staying out long like this, but how much time do you gain from that as well? In the later end of the run. Because now with everybody, everybody's gonna be on different tire cycles. I think he had a bit of a slow stomp getting out. Yuria may end up jumping Yatika here.
Good, yeah. May do so, but the 92 's gonna
Yappy
catch up really
Malakson.
quickly here, of course.
How about the 23, Yappy Malakson? She's managed to shuffle herself into 5th in line. See Little's coming in. Looks like pretty much everybody else is going to come in here. And on cycle, not a whole lot's changed. Halis Jukovic now leading the way. Battling for the, that is the 4th position. That's actually Yappy Malakson trying to take it away from Pacelinieri. 6th here at stake between Alicantes and Ku. The 71 who led the last lap slides back out behind the 27 and the 46. 62 a little wide through the corner. Could give Lily Talberson a good chance here to maybe make a move. Talberson's looked like she's had the speed to contend with that 62. Again, not quite making the aggressive move. Oh, I say that. There goes Talberson into turn 1, looking for the race lead. But Jukovic covers.
With the 39 made good use of time here. They didn't fire off as well as the 62 did right off of pit lane, but just like that, she's already looking to take the lead here. They're going to be side by side. Can the 39 outbreak here? Yes.
Yeah, she's got down there.
Going to be side by side through the bus stop. 39
Exiting the bus stop. Can't really get the
62,
grip
yeah.
down. Can't get the power down.
62 kept
But
the
she's
door
still
closed, at least for now.
she's still looking to the inside of Jukovic, and now that's letting Yatika reel herself in.
And the top 3 are back at it like this. Big winner Malakson, though, up to 4th, of course. Young Wei Ku as well, 38 up to 6th.
Talberson's really been trying to get to the bumper of the 62. She has made about 3 looks this lap. And it's going to be 4. As she gets down to the inside going into turn 1. Talberson trying to get back out front. And she's going to have the inside going into the S's, and that's pretty crucial. This is a crucial spot. And she's got it. Lily Talberson gets the lead back. Now If we're tracking that playoff battle. There's Waterton, 21st. Vebels 27th. Ajar Siraj is 31st. Right now, Waterton and Vebels are in. Ajar Siraj is out. Meanwhile, Michele Iotika's trying to get around the outside of Jukovic. They touched a little bit down the exiting turn number 11. '92 had the advantage.
Still side by side. 62 has the inside here. Hold off for... No, actually, the 92 doing really well.
92's doing a pretty solid job hanging on the outside, yeah.
Yeah, Still's going to be side by side. With help from the 23, maybe not. 23, yeah.
Yeah, Iotika's going to make the pass on the outside. That's a good move.
That's an unbelievable. Good job by the 92 there to keep that position for now.
She actually took the position. She took it away from
that's a
Jukovic.
pass, okay.
Yeah, that's a pass. That was a pass
Yeah,
for position.
Very impressive there then.
And Jukovic is starting to fall off now. She's under attack from Yapi Malikson for third. Malikson trying to pull the same move. And again, more contact between those two. And Malikson's going to clear. Exiting 11 on the outside once again. Jukovic getting passed up on the top side. I mean, that car just doesn't look the same. I think this might have been where the 3 and the 55 had their incident. I think they might have gotten into the outside wall there a little bit.
See quite a few tire marks there.
There's tire marks there. I mean, they obviously were all able to keep going in the race, so. It wasn't too big of a deal. Iottika pressuring Talberson. We got Halis Jukovic, Pace Laniria. There's Davison and Wesco battling for 8th. And right now, there's the battle for the lead. Iottika on the back bumper of Lily Talberson.
Looks like the 92 also has a good middle to long run pace here.
Yeah. Halis Jukovic has been dropping back. She has not been able to keep up with the 23, and now Pace Laniria looking to the inside into turn 10.
Yep. That moves Malikson up to the podium spots here.
Jukovic stays to the inside of Yuria. But she's not. I don't know if she's going to be able to keep that momentum, especially going down in the turn. Well, she'll stay to the inside for now.
Looks like Michi Karsten is also made her way to the top 10.
Yeah, Garnston
Yeah, the 91 I believe.
having a pretty remarkable run. He's kind of climbed up through quite a bit of the field as well.
Yeah, Karsten started 26th, so that's a big net gain already for that team.
Very good. And we've been all green. Pretty much no wrecks to speak of, really. It's just...
Iottika looking around.
Iottika took a look to the inside on the exit of the carousel, but there was no room for her. And now Yappy Malixon's starting to reel these two in. When they go side by side, I've noticed this, but if they just even get, if one car just kind of ducks out of line, that lets the car trailing them get a really good run up on them. Like, you see cars going too wide, all of a sudden the car behind just runs right up on them, like, in an instant. That's something I've noticed quite a bit.
It's gonna be a three-way battle for the lead here.
Yeah. If Yappy Malixon can hold on here. Fastest lap so far. Gianni McJasmina, as the 91,
Oh dear, that's
is having a
smoke.
severe engine
That's in
issue.
the worst spot possible. There is nowhere to go in this part of the track.
And that,
Careful,
she's not going to
careful,
make it.
careful. Oh, there's a car running up on the outside. That's... Oh my goodness.
Oh,
and a 15 runs
Tolaron.
into her.
And that is going to be a caution.
Yeah, watch for count here. That's just about everyone.
That is
there.
going to be our first caution flag of the day. As we race back to the start-finish line, caution is out. And Halis Jukovic actually lost quite a bit. She actually fell back to 5th. Just barely held on to that spot against Youngwei Koo. That's of great benefit to Bria Delot and Mimi Barino, by the way. Now the big question here, this caution will shake up the strategy a little bit. But I do want to take a look as to what occurred between these two cars. At the start of the race. Delod, Barino. I'm not sure if there was another car involved or what, but ah.
Yeah, that.
And then, of course, we saw what happened with Byrne and Tolaron there. I'm just going to take those two out of the race. See how many cars come to pit road. I have a feeling we're going to see split strategy. And yes,
Yeah,
we are.
I was gonna say we're not too far into this run. I was gonna say maybe some teams are looking into maybe just staying out to try to get some extra track position. Although lots
Now,
of
if
cars are
you
staying
stop here, you can one-stop it to the end of the race.
in. Yeah, just about.
You can just barely make it if you stretch the fuel.
Notably,
So that...
notably, not too many cars are taking it. So
Not
all
too
of
many
these-
cars are taking this chance here.
So all of these cars are going to be all these cars that are running up front, the 39 and 92 especially, and the 23 are going to be at the back now. That's going to put Paceland Yuria and the 17 back into the lead.
See who gets out first of these cars coming off pit road. It is going to be the 39. The 23 is going to be second of these cars. So of the cars that came down pit road, it is Talberson, Malixon, Yatica, Koo, Wesco, Carly Byrne, Cole, Edelstein, Abriella, Harina, Stoneman, Gennaro, Vancy, and Parkings, and Rugatino.
Wait, can you just repeat the numbers of the cars that came in again? Was the
It was 39, 23, 92, 38, 69, 52, 82, 20, 34, 10, 42, 1, 72, 96.
Okay.
Ellie, do you have any word on what happened to the 91?
Yeah, so I'm over here by the garage, and it looks like the 91's team is not sure exactly what the damage is, and the extent of it, but they know that it definitely has to do with, one of her pistons.
Well, tough break for Alicia Byrne, who was running pretty well. She was running in the top 10 for a decent bit. Well, Pacelin Yiria is the leader now. Green flag is out. We are back to racing at the Glen.
Good jump by the 17 there. 18 looking around. A few cars already moving up.
Yeah, Nahale trying to make a dive down here on Amani Wandayo.
See the 98 of Siraj.
There's the 98 and 99, and keep in mind the 98's ahead of the 99 now.
Yep.
So that moves. That's a very interesting scenario. That 13's about. They're about. 13 is about equal with the 98 in terms of the point standings now. Right now, it's a non-playoff driver leading in Pacelin area.
Then then we have two that have already won.
Here's Mick Jasmina taking a look on Yenfi Yanaga. Top playoff driver that doesn't have a win right now is the 22 of Andre Davison now in fourth. And this caution has kind of bunched everybody back together.
Yeah, we saw how everyone was kind of separated into smaller packs, kind of on the onset of that first pit cycle, but not now. Everyone's kind of bunched together again, and this is gonna really shake things up now.
Ellie?
Yeah, I've got some info on the 64 of Nihil. It looks like she ended up coming down for a vibration in her tire.
Looks like the one of Alicia Vancy had a penalty that she had to serve on that restart.
Yeah.
She came down for a stop and go.
Want in the front of the pack here with these cars that came in. And a 23 still leading the way with these guys. And there's a 38, 20 as well. Check a little bit further back here. That's the 10 and the 9. Okay, a lot of cars still going. Right now, still those two cars that were leading the way before, now leading that second pack of cars. Meanwhile, a few positions changing up here. E.G. Garnston making good use of all the track positions she can get. Trying to get into the top 5, or the top 4.
Top 4 now, yeah.
Here comes Alfonte back to the inside, though. Yuria and Davison breaking away just a little bit here as the 62, 18, and 27 are all kind of, well, we're all kind of fighting a little bit for that third spot. 62 getting pulled away just that bit now. 6 of Jasmine is also up to 6th place now. That's an important thing to note for the playoffs as well. That's given her a lease on life here. 46 and Yannaga also running in the top 10. Nihil also in the top 10, but she's fairly good on points. And 71 is here as well. Maybe that extra wildcard to 31 if Taylor Happerman's up here with everyone too.
Yeah, I kind of haven't really seen Happerman all day.
Yeah.
But she is kind of just sitting back here. She actually just took 10th away.
Yeah, moved up past the 21 of Fondayo. Get that spot.
Yappy Malikson actually.
Yeah, actually, no, the 38.
I think it's the 38. Yes,
yeah,
I think it's the
gone past
38.
both of them.
She's the lead car on the alternate strategy now.
Yeah, it won't show just yet, but once you get a few more laps into this, maybe around lap 50 or so, that's when these tires on this first pack of cars start really wearing down.
Yeah. Meanwhile, here's we're seeing Bria Delade, Marisha Vebelst. Again, that's the thing, I think, is that if we go green to the end, it's going to be very borderline for these cars to make it on one stop.
The timing of every one of their stops is going to be important.
Yeah.
They're already there, pretty much, on the field.
Well, yeah, they're there. They've been there for a decent bit.
I don't know if this bodes entirely well for the 99. It kind of needs every bit of position.
Yeah, she needs the position. She was only...
Strategy, yeah.
Again, she only came in a couple points up on the cut line. Just
only,
3 points
yeah,
up.
Only 3 points up, yeah. Waterton's had a much better race so far.
Waterton has had a much better race. In fact, Waterton still is having a much better race.
Yeah, still running about in the top 15 or so. I think,
Bevels
there.
pretty much still needs to be... Bevels hasn't even kept within the distance of the 98, and that was her one saving grace beforehand, and now the 98's kind of getting away a little bit.
20th Abriella as well kind of has moved past the 39 and 23. That's interesting to note.
Did the 20 pit?
No, the 20's there.
Did the 20 pit with these
no,
cars?
I don't think they did. I think the 20 is in that kind of mix, I want to say, but not,
okay.
not on this strategy, I don't think.
Rachel Cole's up here with these cars. Actually,
Yeah.
she's up in about 4th place on cycle.
Yeah, and I think Cole did come in.
Cole did come in, yes, because I remember seeing her on pit road. McJasmine
Again, yeah.
thought about trying to take 5th away from Nietzsche Garnston.
And this is going to be the wild card. Here we go, cars.
27 is in.
Fairly early, isn't it?
That's interesting strategy-wise. Nietzsche Garnston kind of making a bit of a gamble here.
That'll be a
I mean,
undercut, but these guys can definitely make it.
She's
now.
not in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So she has that gamble to take. It doesn't really matter for her that much.
Honestly, there was one other car coming in, but I'm not sure. Oh yeah, it was
64 Nihil.
That's interesting. Nihil has a bit more to lose, but also is fairly comfortable in points.
Well, Nihil's pretty comfortable in points,
yeah,
so
a bit more to lose,
there's
but
not
only,
really
but only
much.
if things really go wrong for that 64. So
I mean, I think the only scenario that I would be worried about if I'm Nihil is if McJasmine is the one who wins the race.
Well, Jasmine is there right now. Still quite a few positions to go.
Yeah.
62
Yukovic's starting to
Yukovic,
lose
yeah.
more positions now, by the way.
That brings Happerman up to 8th now as well.
Q's kind of gotten well away from from most of the cars that did come in on the last yellow. Right now, Pace Lanieri with a pretty solid lead at the moment. Just sitting in front of Andrea Davison now in that 22 car. Now, you'd like to point out, Andrea Davison has not finished outside of the top 20 since Rio de Janeiro. In race 22, she has 10 consecutive top 20s, and she has 8 top 10s in that span as well. So Andrea Davison has been on a absolute roll for the past while. Third place, McJasmina against Alicantes. You see Happeman trying to take a spot from Abby Little. And Gianni McJasmina again looking very strong on the road course once again.
Yeah. We'll see what that means when it comes to a playoff standpoint, but
Well,
get into the top 3, I feel like there might very well be a chance she might sneak her way through on points. A win, of course, would 100%.
I mean, we've got a lot of strategy kind of in the works here, though. That's another thing as well.
Yeah, that's
here.
the thing right now with the running order is kind of nebulous. You got so many strategies now overlapping each other. Things are kind of a bit of a wild card now. We'll just have to see which strategy pans out at the end.
Car is in 17.
That's your leader.
17 lead. That's the leader coming down pit road.
Well, if it's a 6 now, we might as well hold out. Try to get a lap lead, I think.
Yeah, you want to get that bonus point. That puts Andrea Davison in the lead. So Davison will get a lap lead. And yeah, now we're starting to hit that tire drop off.
That's when these cars that came in earlier are going to start flying a little bit. 82 as well. I think 82 also, I'm pretty sure, came in as well with the 39. They're also
I believe so.
ahead, yeah. Now, where are the leaders of this pack? I think that would be either the 23, the 38. There it is. Went past the 38. There she is.
There's the 38. And Davison, again, well ahead of the cut line right now.
Yeah, Davidson's all but
Here comes...
This extra point will just build that gap further.
Here comes McJasmina, though. 6 car. She's there.
And here we go to the... Trying to take the race lead. Will she clear? She's already cleared, yes.
Yep, she's clear. She's got the lead now.
How about this? 20th in the playoffs, leading the way now. Lots of strategy left to be deliberated over, but this is definitely making things dramatic now.
32 on pit road. Cinlia Rariston.
Coming in, yep. It's the one
Another
Atlantic
playoff car. She's the one that's in
That's
a bit
the-
of a different spot, in a bit of an odd spot too, because she only came in 7 points up.
Yeah, the one Atlantic car in danger of dropping out in the fourth round, basically.
Yep. Holy Tollerson has really been shuffled.
Yeah, Tulberson hasn't really had a good car in this run. Really dropping behind it. A bunch of cars that already came in on that same strategy as hers. So 6 is breaking out from the pack here.
Yeah, McJasmina's getting away.
Pulled up almost a second on the 22. Trying to build as much of a gap as possible. At least try to be clearly the best car on this strategy that these guys are on.
Yeah. Well, she's doing a pretty solid job of it right now. But again, this strategy kind of, I'd say, is the 3-stop strategy. This is pretty much the guaranteed 3-stopper, because you got at least 2 more here. 26, Chantaze is on pit road.
That's a car that stayed out.
Yep, she's another car that stayed out. I assume Rariston stayed out on this last yellow as well.
I would think so. Rariston, double check which car number that is. That's the 32.
32, yes.
Yeah, 32 stayed out. The only one I'm not sure of is the 20. She may have actually covered. She's holding steady with the 38 if she is. But that's the only car I'm unsure of strategy-wise.
Well, not only is she holding steady with the 38, she just
Passed,
passed
yeah.
the 38. 93. I just saw Tosima duck down to pit road.
Yeah, Tosima used ducking into pit lane entry. Check the gap between a 6 and 22. It's gone up
I can
again.
always check.
20
The
did
20
come in.
did come in, yes.
Okay, yes, 20 is okay. So yeah, my punch was right there.
How about Rachel Cole looking underneath
Of Malixon, yeah.
Malixon?
That last mid lap kind of made things really topsy turvy from a pace perspective, because you're seeing cars that were kind of at the back of the field duck into the pit stop, take that pit stop, and find themselves running with the cars that came in from the very front of the pack. You saw the 23 and the 39 all kind of losing ground, and we haven't talked about the 92 at all.
Yeah, the 92's kind of been. Well, she's just kind of disappeared.
Yeah, same with the 39, running about the same at about the same pace. So there you go. But yeah, big loser though, still really the 99, who found herself behind the 55 and 3, who had an extra pit stop. Well, definitely.
18 is in.
Here we go. More cars at the front coming in.
And yeah, this is shaping up to be really interesting strategy-wise. I think a lot of these cars know they can't make it, so they're kind of trying to strategize their stop the best they can. And with that being said, we are going to take you down to our FanDuel Fan Studio for our mid-race reports with Madison and Ellie. They'll have all the information that you need, and they'll have their analysis on how this race has gone. You two, take it away.
Well, hello from Watkins Glen, as we are pretty much just past the midpoint of this race here at Watkins Glen. Other than a couple hiccups, I'd say it's been pretty calm, don't you think, Ellie?
It's been a pretty calm and clean race. I think the entirety of the racing has been very technical and very calm. I've enjoyed it.
Me too, honestly. It's been rather soothing to watch this as opposed to, last night in Oswego, which was quite chaotic, really. So just having sort of a nice, calm, very sort of traditional road course race is very nice to have, I think. Just having a bit of balance, really.
It's a nice change of pace.
Had a few reliability problems as well, but not as many as perhaps I expected. I thought, with the overcastness, the higher temperatures, maybe some of the humidity could get to these cars and cause more problems. And yes, we did have an engine blow up, and of course we had another car with a vibration, but really not much in as far as real problems go. Wouldn't you think?
Oh yeah, not much at all. That one caution we had was just purely mechanical, and then the 15, I believe, got into her, and other than that, we haven't had much going on crash-wise, and it's just been very clean, and I think that's the biggest thing here, is that a lot of the drivers have kind of just dialed in. They're not really all over the place.
Pretty much. That does tend to happen at Watkins Glen. I think certainly this type of racing takes a sort of different taste, I would argue, than just how it is with, say, ovals. Ovals, you're side-by-side. Contact is, if anything, encouraged on some of them. Here at road courses, it's much more technical and you take your time. And I think I enjoy that. And the strategy is interesting right now, has been all race, and could get much more interesting as the race goes on. How do you think that looks?
I think the strategy has been very interesting the entire time, and I think it's going to mostly remain the same. So far we've kind of seen the drivers perform really well when they aren't fighting each other, when they're not going too wide, almost like they're drafting. But it's been interesting to watch, and I know we're gonna see more of that, honestly. But the 6 car is taking away with it a little bit right now, 2-second gap.
Yeah, definitely. As we look through here, you see the gaps certainly are opening up. You mentioned that 2-second gap, and then it's nearly another 3 seconds back to the driver of the 46, Yemfi Yanaga, and then further back on intervals of tenths and fractions of seconds to other drivers. So I think other than, I'd say, our top 3, the gaps are pretty close further back, and I'd imagine maybe there's some good racing going, especially for third.
Oh yeah, I would like to see the racing going on around the third, second positions.
Oh, this is great. Right here,
Oh,
just
yeah.
on the edge of the top 10. This is some proper racing, as we see Ramos trying to get by through the S's a little bit further back.
The S's have actually been
Side
a
by
little bit of a
side.
surprise to me.
More side by side.
We've seen them make quite a bit of moves in the S's so far.
I agree, and I think part of that is trying to set things up down the straight. And you know, I would have thought going to Watkins Glen with those being, you know, fast, narrow corners, that, you know, you run single file through there, and then you fan out on the backstretch, which is somewhat true, but not to the same extent that I thought.
We've noticed it, but it hasn't been as much as I was going to assume either. Oh, trying to make a move to get it. They are right behind each other, the 71 and the 46.
Here you can see Abby a little aggressively trying to take third away, right on that rear bumper. Could do something up this backstretch here. You see the 71 is faster. You see the 71 looking, pulling up onto the backstretch. Now I think this could be side by side. Abriella's there as well.
Yeah, that's
Abriella might make the move for fourth. Tucks back in.
And now it's
A bit of
dragging
a dip
everybody
onto
else
the
in.
grass. It is. You see Youngwei Ku in the picture now. That 6th place 38 car. And you see McJasmine pulling up even further. We mentioned the 2-second gap a while ago. Now it's more like 3.5 seconds. So
Yeah.
quite a bit of difference as you see the 6 pitting in and the 22. The remainder stay out side by side for third.
46 got it.
Little might be able to get
Little
the
fighting
inside
it.
in one. Abriella drifts a bit wide. Youngwei Ku had a look for a moment, but does not get through. 71 has the inside in the S's and
She's
takes
got it.
third. Abriella flooding through as well. 2 stones hitting 1 bird as we see more cars battling back here. Here's Yappy Malkson trying to take another position.
This racing right here is the racing I like to see from road courses. It's very competitive.
Absolutely, yeah. As you see a bit more side by side here between the 21 and 52. It's very technical racing, not the sort of thing where you just shove your opponent out of the way, but you have to try and get that corner a little bit better and rely on the other to make some mistakes. As you see Abriella hounding down a little now for what's second in the race at this point. And Yanaga's going to come to pit road. Smart. Might as well mitigate those losses. You see the 21 also pitting.
The 71 has been a car that's kind of shocked me a bit. She started in row 10 on the inside, which starting on the inside on a road course can be helpful. But with how she's been performing, it's honestly been pretty shocking.
So yeah, she has been making her way up through the field quite nicely. I think some of that is strategy, some of it certainly is passing, as we saw. Maybe that car tuned a bit more for the long run in the race as opposed to the short run in qualifying. As we see Abriella trying to take third now into the chicane. They're going to be side by side. Little has the inside. Abriella has momentum on the outside and is going to take that spot.
Now that the 20 took the spot, it would be a good time for the 71 to pit here, I think.
Much like the 46, I think, but in a less extreme situation, as we see Youngwei Ku maybe thinking about taking a position, doesn't. Abriella also
And
pitting.
they both pit. This has been a
38
really
should
good
inherit the lead
points race
here.
for her.
And that's the thing, as we approach the end of this race, I believe this should be the last run of the race. I could be mistaken, but question is, undercut or overcut? I would think undercut for a road course because passing is a little bit more difficult than at an oval.
Yeah, I'm not too sure about overcutting here. You're gonna want the better tires faster, not later. It's not really gonna benefit you much to overcut, I think.
I agree, because if you do catch up, your tires are going to be old too, and you won't be able to do much with them. And, 3 laps at Watkins Glen is way more tire wear than 3 laps at Oswego. So I
Oh, for
think,
sure.
yeah, undercut is definitely the smarter strategy. So it's just who blinks first. And some of these drivers are in a staring contest. So you see Malkson on the outside of Youngwei Ku. Now on the inside through the final corner. One taker, the 82 coming in.
They're fighting each other for it. But Maxon could get here. Oh, yep. And they're still fighting.
52 could pick up some scraps just like Little did on Yen Fianaka earlier in that battle for third, which was the lead at that point. Malkson's through. Looks like Perkins is having a look down the backstretch here into the chicane. Didn't quite make much of it. And there's our pole sitter actually, Yataka, just in that front of the 3 groups, and you see Talberson as well qualified very well. Sort of running in the top 10 at the moment, will be a little bit lower after the pit cycle is complete.
Talberson has been running just very well this entire race. I've noticed as well too. I think she would be a really good contender for as a pick for the FanDuel picks.
Yeah, speaking of which, let's go into that as we segue forward now that things have calmed down just a bit in our lead group. Who do you think could win this race?
Well, we're looking at a driver right now I think has a really great shot, Yappy Maux, and she's great at these types of tracks, and she's been running great all race. Another driver, not in the top 10 right now, but it's Abby Little. I think she's also another driver I think could do great right now, and I think she could have a good shot at winning this as well. And then there's also
Yeah, she can
Lily
keep her car
Talberson.
straight. Very moment off of the final corner there as slower cars are intermixing with faster cars. But I think I'm going to pick Abby Little as my pick to win. Certainly looked impressive there in those battles, and if she can just work through this traffic, there might be a real shot. She's had certainly much more of an upsurge in the playoffs here, and I think that could very well continue. And a win at Watkins Glen would be a great way to make momentum for the championship.
Yeah, usually if somebody picks my driver that I'm going to pick for my FanDuel pick, I usually go for somebody else, but I'm also going to just still go with Abby Little as well. I think she's got a really good shot here.
All right, and with our 2 picks, I imagine it won't be unanimous in the booth, but we will send it back to our friends over there and see what their opinions are on the top contenders for this race.
Well, here we go. This is definitely going to be a bit tricky given all the strategies everyone is on right now. Obviously some of these cars are more sure about their position fuel-wise than others here. Definitely going to be a bit tentative for these cars that are on this strategy that came in during the caution. But I'm going to take one here and go with one of these cars that did come in during that came in during this caution. I'm going to go with the 23 of Yappy Malakson, I feel. That's if I'm gonna go with one of the cars that came in during the caution, it's gonna be very close with these cars. It's gonna come down to when they can make their last pit stop, and they still have quite a few laps to go, but not too many. I don't think. I think we get to about 30 to go or so. About 6 laps from now. That would be. It's gonna be borderline, but that might put them in a very good spot if they can save that extra pit stop, save on a green flag stop, I would say. It's gonna come down. Then it might very well come down to whoever won on this strategy that's leading the way right now. Whoever one of these guys can comes in basically. And right now it might come down. It might very well come down to one of those two, the 38 or the or 23. They're currently leading the way, but some of these cars are already coming in, so that might backfire very quickly here. I'll hand things over to Ekano with her pick.
Well, I am going to take the 6 of Jami McJasmina. She looked super fast. She just absolutely drove away from a ton of cars. She's looked like she has the fastest car of anybody right now. She had a lot of road course expertise in Montreal. I think she's going to do it again here at the Glen. And McJasmina will punch her ticket to the next round. Much of a Hail Mary-like scenario. I think I'm going to take McJasmina here.
Yeah, if anyone on that second strategy, as these cars are now coming in, 23 and 92, but not the 38.
And I'm kind of thinking about it. I think that window kind of opens around lap 70. I wonder if these cars are gambling on a few caution laps.
Perhaps, yeah, some caution might be enough. You guys are all kind of working together here. But yeah, on that main strategy, the
I wonder
primary
if
strategy would probably be one of McJasmina, or maybe if things go wild on that last one, maybe a Paceland Yurio came out ahead of the 6, who's coming in a bit earlier than the 6 and 22 there.
Yes.
Because the 6 kind of put herself in a bit of a weird spot here by staying out later, but obviously built up quite a gap. But of course, she has to make that up all again in this run, basically. Watching the 64 of Nihil here.
Nihil just kind of holding on to this spot right now.
Yeah, Nihil stayed out under caution, but came in a little kind of fairly early for everyone else.
Yeah. Top 4 right now, pretty single-filed out. It's Ku, Haurina, Cole, and Stoneman. There's Arena Tosima trying to chase down Lowry Schliesenbach. Perry Alicante is back behind there. You got Happeman, you got Angetta, Shantaze, Vancy, Yukovic, Waterton, Davison. That's that group of 10. Emery Westcoast kind of dropped off the lead pack here. 72's coming in. Janet Parkings. And again, I think
38's still staying out though.
38's still out here though.
Yeah, it might be. It might very well be that the 38 might be in the catbird seat on that strategy here. Interesting to see that. Still has, I think, at least a lap to go before plausibly can make it. Or plausibly the 38 can make it.
Probably a lap. I think 32 is about the most you can stretch that window to. And even then, I think that's pretty borderline.
Yeah.
But Ku out front, I think a lot of these cars may just be trying to draft off each other down the straightaways to save fuel. I believe the 38 and 34 are pitting this time. Yes, they are. 52 and 10 staying out. So Rachel Cole, Audie Stoneman. Now the two drivers in the best spot to potentially make it to the end.
Now, this would be a real surprise if Rachel Cole manages to make it.
Hey, Rachel Cole's been good on the road courses
Good,
this year.
yeah,
These have been some of her best tracks all year. She hasn't had much success all year, but the road courses have been one of Cole's better points. She finished on the podium at Sonoma and at Road America. See, McJasmine's gotten around Garnston. And I think another thing to think about here, if you're one of those drivers that's trying to run along here and maybe try to shorten it up, maybe try to make it a one-stopper, what do you lose in terms of tires? That's what my main concern is. These two come in. But also, another thing I may be considering, if they can't make it, what do you do for that final stop? Do you try a splash and go, maybe?
Maybe, yeah. I was gonna say, if you're in that position where a splash and go might be enough, that still that would still kind of throw things into the mix a little bit, because that saves quite a bit of time still. You don't lose that much time
27's
at the
coming
very
in
least.
again.
The race win might not be on the cards if you do that, but you can still gain a whole lot of position by taking a splash and go instead of a full pit stop.
Taylor Happman and Perry Alacantes. If you're wondering where the leader was, there was Andrea Davison. In terms of strategy, there's the 23. There's where Yappy Malikson is. If you're looking for the 20, there's where the 20 is. She's a little ahead of the 23.
See where we'll see what they're working up from a final
52
pit stop
just
perspective,
exited just
yeah.
behind the 23.
Yeah, assuming the 23 has to come in, which is what I'm going to assume. We'll see where they end up filtering, what kind of stop they end up doing for their last stop.
Leader
Very
right
well
now.
be a two-stop, a two-tire stop.
Leader right now, well, it would have been the 64, but she's coming to pit road again.
Coming in very early again. Which is interesting.
I wonder if this is a plan to maybe try and
Yeah.
shorten it up to get to the end.
I was gonna
I
say,
wonder if
the
maybe the
60
27's trying the same thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the 64 is in a position where should be able to comfortably make it on that last stop. So this might be a strategic play.
The one having an issue? Did the
Yeah.
one have an issue, or did she
One may have
just
gotten stuck somewhere?
did she just get stuck on pit road?
Doesn't look like it. Yeah, it looks like she just got stuck on pit road. Yeah.
That is.
The
I'm
answer
pretty
is
sure
that is the
she
answer, yes.
got stuck on pit road for some reason.
Nothing wants to stranded on the racetrack, so.
Not stranded on the racetrack, so not a caution, but.
But yeah, it looks like a purely strategic play from the 64 here. You never count on the 64 teams and their ability to kind of just pull some strategies here. They always seem to find a way to get up in at least in the top 10 at the end of any given race. So maybe they have something cooking after all over there.
You know, we are kind of reaching that point where we're within that range of where I think you could make it. You can make it from here, kind of
Yeah.
pitting here. A lot of it's going to be difference in terms of tires because one car back out on the track, but she's going to be she's 3 laps down now.
Well out of contention.
Well out of contention, and that is also going to take her out of the playoff picture. Madison?
I'm hearing that with the one car, that was an overheating engine, and they had to go back down to cool off the engine to just try and finish the race. Unfortunately, though, for Fancy, that basically means that if her chances of getting into the next round were dying at, it is now a dead end, unfortunately. Might as well try to finish the race if there's any chaos, but basically over at this point.
You get a caution. You get a bunch of cautions. Oh, the 20!
Oh dear, that's
Gabriella!
and that's in the S's again. That will be a caution.
And that is a yellow.
Speaking of, there's the first
Well,
caution.
speak of the devil,
And this resets everything too.
that is gonna severely benefit Garnston and Nihale, really.
Oh well. Now what?
Oh, and Harina has
Road is
damage.
Slow. That's the car that may have run into her. Twice now, the S's have bit someone. unbelievable scenes here in Watkins Glen as our second caution of the day comes just within the fuel cycle. If you come in now, you're pretty much good to the end. Plus, with the extra caution lap you'll get.
Yeah, this is interesting here because
But if you're, say, the 38 or the 64 who came in kind of in that either just outside or just within the pit cycle, I think for those guys, you want to stay out here.
the 2 car also had just come down pit road. Isa Ijavida.
Yeah, that's another driver that's you want to be looking at here. Yeah, there she is.
Madison.
Unfortunate for the 20 running so well this race, and I even considered having her as my FanDuel pick, but you see right here on the replay, tire went down. We're going to watch it as it happens. According to the crew chief, it was more or less a left front going probably from too aggressively riding the curve, and I don't know, honestly. It doesn't really seem that viable. I don't know if it's actually the left rear that's down, but that's what I was told by the crew chief, so that's basically the sum of it. But stop there, and yeah.
Ooh.
That's really not a great place to stop. Back to you guys.
It's a bit of a nasty hit there that Twain took.
So now the big question, who comes in and who stays out? Who thinks they have enough? Well, Malikson has chosen to stay out. Cole, Koo, Stoneman, Edelstein, Yatica, Talberson, Parkings, Wesco, Gennaro, Nihale, Garnston, Rariston, Chantaze, Ijavida. McJasmina wins the race out. Gabriella and Harina are done for the day. That shouldn't be very surprising. Lights are out on the pace car, so we will be going back green. The one car of Fancy was the only car off the lead lap. And, well, she's still the only car off the lead lap.
Yeah.
She's now 2 laps down instead of 3. Alright, pace car, about to pull off. Yappy Malikson is the leader. The big question becomes, how much fuel is in the tank? 26 of Shantaze was already doing a dive bomb to the inside. But Malikson is the leader. How about Meika Gennaro here in the 42? She's up in the top 10, although I think she's one of the cars that stayed out.
I believe so, yes.
For Jocelyn Nihil, this 64 team might have actually cooked up something, because I'm not sure very many of these cars up here can make it to the end. The 10 and the 52 may be the only ones I believe that are particularly safe.
Yeah, I think those are the safest ones outside of the 64. I think the 64, if anything, was just
64 and 27.
Yeah, 64 and 27 were maybe just in the fuel window, and this makes it fairly comfortable for them, I think, as Rachel Cole looks to the inside to take the lead here.
Cole going for the lead.
This does make things very interesting.
Interestingly as well, Sophie Chantoze actually just jumped Nihil. Here's another car I'd be keeping an eye on, is Irina Tosma in the 93. She was in the top 5 at the point of the caution. And she's still in the top 5 of those cars that pitted. Nihil and Chantaze battling here. Things are getting dicey now. Everyone's getting aggressive, trying to figure out all their worth. But again, now, I don't think a splash and go is feasible.
Yeah, what do you call it? The field is really tight now.
Yeah, as here comes Stoneman diving to the inside on Malikson.
That strategy would have been feasible had they gone green all the way, but now things might get a bit hairy if they can't.
Things have changed.
Yeah.
And also, that's assuming we go green all the way to the end.
That is also true. Yeah.
With how this race has gone, I would not be surprised if we saw a caution come out that that gave us another restart in this one. Stoneman again looking to the inside of Malikson. Again, the 10 and the 52, I would say, are the safest two of the cars that stayed out. Of the cars that pitted on the first caution, those are the safest two, I think. The 64 and 27 are the safest of the cars that are the safest of the cars overall, I would say, that stayed out here. Because those cars literally just came down pit road, pretty much.
Watching the 64 here, kind of hasn't made too much progress. Kind of stuck in this battle with the 39.
Yeah?
I feel like that's where she was already before. 27 is right there with her. Watching the 6 of McJasmina here.
McJasmina's kind of not really held up. She
yeah.
actually got passed by the 17. I think she actually also got passed by the 8 of Larry Schliesenbach as Jamaica Gennaro got very loose.
17 looks quite good here. Yuri has kind of kept that car in contending range at the very least.
If you're one of these cars that stayed out, I think you have to go as long as you can. I think that's pretty much the only way one of them is going to win. Although, honestly, I guess I wouldn't be too surprised if maybe somebody takes 4 tires, we get another caution, and they kind of just charge their way up through the field. But again, there is some... They do need to account for time if that's going to happen. Jocelyn Nihill has yet to win this season. .42 is in. Gennaro just came down pit road. Back here, there's where, there's Garnston. Irina Tosima has actually climbed up quite a bit. And now, as well, I want to keep an eye on the playoff battle again. Where is Waterton? Waterton's behind Vebelst. But she is 4 spots ahead of Ajarsaraj. Waterton has the tiebreak on Ajarsaraj by 1 spot, by the way. 16th compared to Ajarsaraj's 17th. So if I'm watching anything, it's that battle. The 96 is behind all of these cars, so she's not really a factor right now. The 6 I don't think will be a factor unless she wins the race. Battle for the lead. Audie Stoneman.
Side by side with Rachel Cole. Cole has the better exit.
Cole had the better exit, but Stoneman's going to keep
on
to the inside in the carousel.
Yeah. Doing well, just Cole side by side. Cole's trying to clear, finally gets clear there.
Cole stays clear.
Stays in the lead for now.
Keyword for now.
Yeah, that 10 car looks...
The 10 car looks very fast.
Yeah.
23 is in. 23 is in.
Yeah, coming in with 20 to go.
Cut her losses here.
Gives her plenty of time. 10 looking now.
10 to the inside again, going into turn 1. Thirteen's jumped 1 spot ahead of the 99 now. Again, keep in mind, it's 3 points between those two. 28th to Ajarsaraj's 32nd.
4 spots right now.
That's 4 spots. It was 4 points between those two. And Waterton has the tiebreak. Sophie Jean-Tazé trying to make moves around AWSCO. 8th position at stake here. See, Nietzsche Garnston may be following Jean-Tazé. Edelstein running up in 7th. But again, fuel mileage is the main concern here now. If you're one of those cars that stayed out on this last caution, you're trying to save all the fuel you can. And that's not an easy task, especially at a road course. Especially at a road course like this one, where you're on the throttle quite a bit. I imagine Stoneman and Cole are going to try to push it all the way. Jasmine are trying to pass Lowry Schliesenbach. She's done so. They also try to maneuver around Alacantes. Nihale is caught up to 5th place Janet Parkings. Top 2. Pretty decently out there. Again, the fuel window, I'd say at a maximum is about 32 laps. These two pitted with pretty much with 32 laps to go.
Yeah. See what that means that they're fighting for the lead. We're fighting for the lead right now, anyways.
52 kind of took a look to the inside, but
Yeah,
didn't
took a
have
look,
the room.
really didn't go anywhere with it. 64 making moves, looking to enter the top 5 now.
Yep, trying to look underneath Parkings. Chantaze underneath Wesco.
And then this complete mess back here. Everyone's still fighting for positions over
And
here.
everybody is going for everything here.
Yeah. It's Edelstein and Talberson up front, and then all of this is going on. 99 past the 13. That's important right there. That's one position.
99 past the 13, that's a position. 28th to 31st now.
Yeah, there's a lap car in between those guys. Pick the one, yeah, the one advantage.
So now a Jar Siraj is in. And by the way, if Nihale were to win, it would not change really anything.
Yeah, Nihil is well ahead, so that won't really do anything for the playoff battle here.
Actually, Handstrom's out of the race in the 19 car.
Oh, right, Handstrom. Yeah, you're right.
It was only 8 points up.
to the good. 8 points to the good.
So it's
where
very-
was she classified? 38.
38th. 27 is
is
pitting.
coming in.
27 is
That's a car-
pitting.
That's a car
She
that came in
pitted.
with the 64, yeah.
Yeah, she did. That's real interesting.
38 plus 8, that would be 20, no, 30th place exactly.
That's 3 points
30th place.
that the 19 got.
Yeah, 30th place exactly. And everyone, all the cars all the cars that we're dealing with here are all ahead, I think, of 30th place. That might be the gauntlet right there. Actually, it might be between Handstrom and whoever.
Might be between Handstrom and maybe a Jar Siraj.
Yeah, and whoever is last of those cars.
Well, if the 27 couldn't make it, I'd be really worried about the 10 and 52 now.
Yeah,
Because these two came in a couple laps before the 27 last came in.
yeah. So the question is, what does that mean for the 64 as well? Because they came in on the same lap.
But those two came in around the same time. You see the 92 of Yatika here third. The 93 of Tosima has gotten away from the field. 60, 26 is in. 10 of 52 just came in.
Here we go.
There's the answer. $60, 93 is in. 82.
More cars are coming in. Cars that I think came in
Cars that came in on this yellow.
On this yellow, so yeah. Might have one last stop in it. Very well then. One last pit cycle, it looks like.
I wonder if maybe they're feeling like tires are going to be more important.
I was gonna say that might be that's a tire call right there, and the 64 is gonna be on old tires by the end of this.
Well, assuming the 64 stays out.
Yeah, that's the thing. If the 64 stays out, they're gonna be on very old tires. That might be the thing that tips it over for the 64 team now. Don't really have anybody else on that
I
strategy.
think she's pitting.
Yeah, and the 39 is bearing down. Not that far back. If she starts losing seconds a lap, it's basically over.
Well, the 39 also.
Yeah, there we go. 64 coming in.
39 stayed out last yellow.
More cars coming in.
Two
Yeah.
car. 32.
Stays out. 39 stays out.
I mean, a lot of these cars are trying to make it as far as they can. The 10 and 52 got out ahead of the 23.
These two are still fighting for position out of pit lane.
'52's got it. 64 is in. '92's still out there. I believe she's coming in. That's going to leave the lead to Parkings. '39, 6 are coming in. I think everybody's going to pit here.
Yeah. It's more and more likely now that I think everyone will get one more stop in there.
And I feel like there might be some cars that chance it.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. Yeah, with all these cars coming in, maybe some other teams start changing their minds a bit. Maybe try to stick it out.
72 of Parkings is the leader.
Well, isn't this just intriguing now?
Yeah, no kidding. As it's cycled off pit road, 10, 52, 23, 38. What did the 10 and 52 do to get out ahead of the 23? Because that feels... I guess they just had a really quick stop. Wow, the 52 had a really fast stop. 13.11 seconds. That is a remarkably fast stop. Parkings is still out there. Pace Linieri has scored second. The Ozark cars are 2-3 right now. As we've reached our Windows 11 to go. And it's anyone's guess as to who's got the fuel to make it and who doesn't.
Yeah, it really is quite the situation now. 52, I think, yeah, 52 and 10 are still leading the way here.
52 and 10 leading the way of the cars that have pitted.
Yeah, the cars that we know can come in, that can go to the end, I should say.
Cars we know can go to the end. Everybody else, very questionable. 72, 17, 31, 8, 22, the top 5. Then it's Delad, Yukovic, Vebelst, Waterton, Little, the top 10. Carly Byrne, Ajara Siraj, Rigatino make up the rest of the cars that have yet to pit. '72's in. See what the 17 does. I think the 17's going to stay out. I don't believe anybody else in this pack is coming in. So Pace Linieri now leads in that 17 car. Pretty good showing for her first race in that car,
Yeah, no,
don't you think?
Very impressive run by the 17. definitely staking her claim that that 17 car can compete.
It's a 1-2 for Ozark right now, actually.
Yeah, that
And
is
I
a statement to be said in the
I
Cup
mean,
Series.
I am not sure you could have... I'm not really sure how to describe that other than that is certainly something.
Yeah.
These two staying out still. Looks like pretty much everybody from this group is still out there. There's the 93. Taylor Happerman running second right now. Again, this is going to be pretty good for Happerman. They're still staying out another. They're staying out another lap here. And I don't think that if these cars can make it to the end, I don't think that I honestly don't think that what do you call it? I lost my train of thought. I don't think that the fresh tires are going to catch up to these cars. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
These teams just gambling that they can make it to the end, but it's going to be very, very close. Top running playoff car is Davison in fourth place in that 22. Or excuse me, it's actually Happerman. It's Happerman. I forgot about Happerman. I forgot.
If you're Happerman right now, a good points day will do. So she is how many points up? Coming in 29 points up. Not exactly a driver anybody expected to make it past the first round, but a top 10 runner at North Wilkesboro and a solid run at Kansas, 16th place for the 31. If she can make it to the end here.
By the way, Bria DeLotte is 6th place right now.
That's another driver that might throw multiple wrenches into
If
this.
she can make it to the end, that might mess with a lot of things.
Yeah.
Abby Little sitting 9th right now.
I had the 55 and 6 in mind as drivers below the cut line coming into this race that could really throw wrenches into this. We've seen the 6 make waves in the middle part of the race.
The 96.
Might very well be doing
By the
this.
way, the 96 Rigatino, same boat. She's 12th.
Yeah, she's staying out on that same strategy.
She's on the stay out with fuel strategy.
But yeah, if those gambles pay off, this is really going to shake things up in the playoffs now. Lots of cars in the top 10 now. I don't think we're really running that way. I mean, the 96 doesn't have a rear end. It's kind of been struggling for pace because of that. 99 as well. That's a driver we talked about that looked like she was in a lot of trouble. Look at all of these drivers that are in the playoffs. And three of them are on the bubble.
Yeah. The only one here in this picture that's not on the bubble is Abby Little.
That's Abby Little of all drivers, yes.
We're coming to 5 to go. I think they may try to make it. Oh, 27 car. Nietzsche
Oh,
Garnston.
dear! That's a big... it's a big engine going. Let's see, there's lots of room to go around at this part of the track at least here. There's the carousel and the last two corners, so...
She might be able to make it back.
Crucially, she's past the S's. That's the thing that would really throw things around.
Yeah.
It'll get a little bit tight through the chute, but I don't think there's nobody really around here. She'll get past this part of the track without any issues. And
Yeah, I think she's gonna get by here fairly okay. But a very unfortunate end to somebody who we thought might have had a shot to win.
yeah. Laps are ticking down though. It'll be lap 99 once the 17 and 31 get here. There they are.
It will be 4 to go.
27 will limp into pit lane before these guys get to her. Right now, if you're Ozark Racing, you're just starting to think a little bit here.
Madison.
Right, so on the 27, that engine just blew up, and I'm hearing from the team that it had to do with the piston on that car. Piston number 5 just went up basically and is no good, so that is probably an engine that will not be seeing the track again.
Well, with that amount of smoke, I don't think we were ever doubting that. I will say, car that I think might be in trouble with everything going on here, the 39 of Talberson. She was only 12 points up, and with a bunch of these cars up in the top 10 trying to make it on fuel, Talberson is not in a very good spot. That 39's drop is back in 22nd right now. 3 laps to go. Yuria and Happeman, the top 2, as things stand. I wonder if Happeman is just content to let Yuria run this one out.
I feel like as it stands, the 31, obviously, the win would be nice, but I don't think Ozark are going to intervene into this.
She advances either way.
Yeah, because a second place is more than good enough when you're 29 points ahead of the cut line. I think if you're the Ozark cars, just let them race here.
Coming to 2 to go. And again, I think we're going to see how many of these cars can make it. I kind of wonder if the 17 and 31 have backed their pace off a little bit to try and save here. You see, they've lost 2.
We're going to see at the end of this lap. And from then on, he just got to go with it. Just got to gamble to the end.
I mean, it doesn't matter what happens now.
Yeah.
It's,
If you're the 17, obviously it's, go big or go home. But if you're the 31, you're a little bit nervous here. Because that point situation could
bite
flip
you.
on you. Yeah, it could flip on you here. If you can't make it to the end, that might be disastrous, but you just have to see as they're halfway through the lap, heading through the carousel now.
Paisla Nieria hadn't won a race all year. She looked strong at the beginning of the season in the 82 car, but after a while just didn't have what it took. She's moved to the 17 car.
They're
committing. White flag. 1 lap to go. Yuria leads. Happeman is second. Schliesenbach, Davison, Jukovic, Vebelst, Waterton, Delod, Little, Harley Byrne, the top 10.
Everyone on that strategy is committing.
The 10 and 52 are pretty close to catching the tail end of this group, but they are not close.
Crucially, Rugatino is holding steady. We'll see what that means for the cut line.
Third place. Here comes Davison.
Davison trying to get an extra point here, just to secure that spot even more from Schliesenbach. Jukovic obviously already in, just kind of enjoying the strategy.
Enjoying the show.
Yeah, enjoying the strategy here. Good work by the 62 there. 99, sigh of relief perhaps from the 99 here. They put themselves in about as good of a position as they could be in.
She's got to be in. She's ahead of everybody.
She's ahead of everybody else in this. 13
and they're
going to
make it.
Though. That 13 car is
These cars are going to make it. It's going to be Pacelin Yiria who takes the 17 to victory lane. Yiria wins at the Glen.
Unbelievable scenes here at Watkins Glen International.
Incredible fuel strategy to win the race in Ozark Motorsports.
Oh, here comes the pack. Rugatino's just ahead of the 52.
Is she? No, she isn't.
No, she isn't. No, 52 got her at the line. Will that 1 point matter? Oh my goodness, what is going on here?
And obviously nobody will advance from the win because it's a non-playoff driver who took the victory.
Yeah.
We will have all of that for you in our post-race show. But regardless of that, wow, what a race.
9 Hills should be in very well. Yeah, 9 Hills should be in first fine with the 16th place finish. That's good enough. I have no idea where the 34 ended up.
She retired.
Oh, she retired, right.
Because she was in that wreck with the 20. She ended up 37th, but she's still fine.
Not ideal, but that's fine.
It doesn't really matter.
That's what that 47 point gap.
She just didn't need a new winner that was in the playoffs.
Yeah. Malixon and Davison are fine, I think.
They should be good.
Davison finished in the top 5. She's definitely fine.
It's going to be very strange here.
The first driver that's really sketchy is going to be Yenfi Yanaga. 34 points up is fine, but she finished way back.
Yeah. Well, we will have all that in our post-race show.
Calculated.
With that being said, Rasha, what were your thoughts on this race, and what do you think we can expect out of the next round?
I mean, I said if we got a strategy game, it might very well be interesting, but that's exactly what we got. That split strategy at the end was kind of crucial to the way this race panned out, and we'll see if that has any ramifications for the playoffs because pretty much all of the drivers that were underneath the cut line were committing to that strategy. And they all made it in. I think the 6 was the only car coming into this race that was below the cut line that wasn't on that strategy.
Well, we will have all that and more in our post-race show. We're going to take you down to Madison and Ellie in the booth. They'll give their thoughts on this race, and they'll give and they will be the ones who inform us how the points shake out, who moves on, and who's out. You two, take it away.
Well, we'll start with the 17 car winning, which frankly, I don't think any of us really expected that much. What do you think?
I did not think about the 17 car once this race until the last 30 laps. I thought that was an insane finish for her. She had a really rocky season, and now she has a win, and she is in really horrible point standings as well. Very interesting finish.
Definitely, very much so. I think after the mid-race support, there are a lot of twists and turns that took us all over the place in terms of things that happened. Of course, Vancy's engine blowing up, which was more of taking and dying it into a dead end, as I believe was said by Pit Reporter earlier. And of course, the Gabriella immediately after flipping over. Yeah, it was honestly a pretty interesting end to the race, I'd have to say, and certainly some contenders near the front that we did not expect to see.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially going in after the mid race report, it just kind of a lot of change ups happened, but also there was still some of those drivers that we were paying attention to in the mid race report that still ended up placing really well. Abby Little was both of our picks, and she ended up getting a 9th position. That is not bad at all for her.
It really isn't, and Haas Yukovic, I considered picking her as a potential candidate to win the race, and of course she ended up getting a top 5 out of all of this. As you look through some of the rest of the field, of course Hoffman finishing second. Larry Schliesenbach, kind of anonymous this race, I would dare to say, but I do think that she got a good result with that third.
She did get a good result, and so did Yukovic. Yukovic does not shock me at all. She placed really well and was really well all race. But Schliesenbach kind of showed up out of nowhere and ended up getting a really good position placement, and I think that's good for her.
Right, we don't have the full standings yet, but I'm hearing that we do have a tie in the point standings for a particular playoff position. We will have more on that soon.
Yeah, the points cutoff and the points in general are going to get very interesting after we get the results in from that, because this race has been a very game-changing playoff race for sure.
Definitely. We mentioned before the race that some of those positions were, I mean, what? Like the points positions, like 6 of those positions on the cut line were around 10, I think, as far as points separating them, 10 points. And then we had even more of that earlier in the race. So certainly we were expecting a lot of close finishes, and we're hearing that the 55 might be an on count back. We don't have that as official just yet. As we take a look at the finish that might have decided a playoff spot. That is the 96 and the 52. And it looks like the 52 just ahead. That could have huge ramifications.
That is so close.
I think that's what? Maybe inches?
Inches easily. Maybe 4.
Yeah, it looks like it for sure.
But yeah, looking at that cut line, going in, Waterton was -3, Rugatina was -5, Delata was -11. Very close cut line, and Bevels was only +3, as Usheraz was only +4.
Yeah, and we have the official standings now, so of course the win for Uria, not consequential to the playoffs necessarily, but we'll have a look at this. So the 96 did lose out on that point, but still made it. Bria Delad is out. Celia Rariston out. Arlen Handstrom out. Felicia Fancy, unsurprisingly, out. Jamie McJasmine was leading laps, but still ended up out of the playoffs. Some of the drivers who maybe we didn't expect to move on, but ultimately did. Eva Yarshraj, I think, she had a pretty poor position to start the race and wasn't really impressive speed-wise throughout, but still managed to make her way in. So, what else do you think as far as some of the drivers that did or didn't make the cut line?
Well, I think with the Zarsharaz, I wasn't really expecting her performance to really be that great this race, given how she qualified. But with how she ran, I think she really needed that, and I'm not too sure on whether it's a safe cushion or not, but it's definitely put her somewhere in terms of, well, now you're not below the cut line.
Okay, correction. It looks like the 55 is actually in, not the 96. The graphic I was given was a bit misleading, so it is actually the 96 on countback, of course. Or excuse me, no, it's the 55 on countback. Got an 8th versus a 14th.
I see. Yeah, and Rariston is out. Is now out. Handstrom is out now. McJasmine was performing well, but I think her issue was that she just wasn't leading enough laps to actually get her anywhere.
And as you look, she actually ended up 30th, which that won't exactly get you in. But even then, if she had, say, I don't know, finished third, I'm not even sure that would have been enough. So it was just not a great situation for the six. But looking a little bit further up, you have some of the drivers moving on. We have, of course, Andre Davison, Hausikovich, who, of course, won at Kansas. Jocelyn Nihale, Taylor Happman, who finished second. That was easily enough. Yappy Malakson ended up making it. Perry Alicantes, who won at North Wilkesboro, obviously making it. Abby Little getting a top 10, making it comfortably. Then Mika Harina, Yenfi Yanaga, Irina Tosima, Risha Bebel, Stanley Telperson, and the others, of course, that we mentioned. Ayar Shiraj, Waterton, and Zalad all making it. So those are the 15 that will be moving on to that next round of the playoffs.
We've got an interesting next round of the playoffs ahead of us, especially with the field. I mean, if you told some people around when the playoffs just started that Abby Little would make it into the second round at a 7th position, I think a lot of people would have scoffed. I mean, she went in the playoffs not really looking at like a strong driver, especially to a lot of people, but she's been having a pretty decent performance lately.
I definitely agree, and we will go back a little bit and see some of the upcoming races here because it could get very interesting, I think. As far as some of those upcoming tracks, of course, we have quite the mix in Continental, and in Cup we'll have a bit of a look here. But yeah, what are you looking forward to coming up in this next round?
I'm looking forward to the fast tracks. I mean, we have a lot of them ahead of us very soon. I'm very excited to see the speedways. Speedways are always really fun to watch, especially in playoffs where there's intense fields and competitiveness. I think that's going to be the very fun thing to look out for, is just how competitive the second round is going to be.
Yeah, definitely quite the range of diversity in certainly that, as we do go ahead and look here for this, obviously having just finished up the race here at Watkins Glen. Next we will have Oregon, Talladega, and Martinsville, the exact same lineup as in Continental actually. Obviously longer races, with the Talladega race being 600 miles, which will certainly be chaotic.
Yeah, Talladega is always chaotic, and it's always a fun race to watch, especially with our Cup drivers here. I think that's going to be a really great race for us to watch.
Definitely. Out of the three, what do you think you're looking forward to most? I know it's a difficult question.
It's Talladega. Talladega is the one I'm looking forward to the most. I've had so much fun watching so many races at Talladega. 2001 Talladega was also a great race as well. I'm very excited to see the drivers hit Talladega for sure.
Definitely. I think Talladega is a great pick. I'm honestly interested to see Martinsville. Of course, being a short track, it gets very bumper heavy at that sort of place, and you could make a lot of enemies there, I think.
Oh yeah, you could, especially making enemies from there going into the third round. Final, I believe, is the final round. It is not the
Ultimate
final
round.
But anyways, making some enemies going into the next round is not something you want to do. And Martinsville is another really interesting track, and I am excited to see that track as well.
It's a cutoff race too, which is even more suspense, I think, with all the things that are considered in the playoffs. Then, of course, that third round, you have Laguna Seca, Atlanta, Rockingham. You go west to the road course, which is world famous, really. Then you have the very unique style of racing in Atlanta. And then, of course, Rockingham, which is a well-liked oval. And then, of course, you finish things off at Homestead, which NASCAR did for so many years. And I think it's a great idea for AWSCO to do that, too. Of course, 500 miles as opposed to the regular NASCAR 400 miles.
Pushing for 500 on that is an interesting idea. I think that's going to be very exciting, and another racetrack to keep an eye on out for is Atlanta as well. That is always a fun track to watch, especially with the way it's been configured lately. It's actually been becoming a very fun track to watch.
It has definitely very unique. And on that, what else do you have to say as far as just reflections on this race go?
Reflections on this race, I would say there are definitely some drivers we need to be looking out for, and the top 10 do not shock me at all, but Arena Tosma I would have expected to have a stronger standing by now. Not that she has been performing great, but she is a driver I would expect to be performing a bit higher.
Okay, and we have the points now. You said Tosima maybe being on a higher standing. She is the highest seeded right now at
She is
just
the highest seeded now.
3 points above the cut line. Then of course Bukovic and Dalad tied for second, and then fourth is a big tie between Malkson, Alcantes, Harina, Yanaga, Topperson, and Ayasharaj. And then you have the bubble area. Davison is just above on countback, I assume. And then it's Happeman, Little, and Vebels and Waterton just below the cut line. And then Nihil is decidedly last by a single point. So, of course, heading into Oregon, we'll see how that goes. Talladega's really going to jumble things up, and I'd imagine Martinsville could do even more to do that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And Nihil is a driver that we're going to have to pay attention to, see if she can save her performances and save her position in the playoffs as a driver. I expected as well to be performing better than she has been.
Definitely. Who do you say are some pleasant surprises in the playoffs so far? I think Abby Little, honestly, because she had I think, quite rough start to the season, but really turned it around later. And as I believe we mentioned earlier in the race, has been on a surgence lately.
Yeah, for sure. She is a driver that I'm trying not to cheer for too much on stream here, but she has been a pleasant surprise. She's been great to watch her have this kind of comeback. She's kind of an underdog, and I always root for underdogs. Another driver, though, is Perry Alacantes. She's been great, even in the regular season, and she's always got an interesting style of driving. I like watching her race. She's been not necessarily a pleasant surprise, but just pleasant to see her perform here.
Definitely. And I think on all of those bombshells, it is time for us to send it back to our friends in the booth and say goodbye to all of you. I am, of course, in Madison. I was pleased to present alongside Ellie, and we will send it back to Echo and Rashia in the booth.
Yeah, and a really fun race here from Watkins Glen. Knocked out 5 drivers from the playoffs, but the remaining 15 will definitely have something to say about. Will definitely have something to compete for. We go to Oregon next week in both the Continental and the Cup Series. The second round for both Continental and Cup is exactly the same. All right. With that being said, on behalf of Rasha, Ellie, and Madison, I am Echo. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.